Recently, I made a video about provisional driving license, how to apply step by step without BRP in 2025 after a visa. A few questions came in as how do we change the address in our provisional driving license. I can tell you it's quite easy, it's completely free, there are no charges, and if you don't change your address promptly, you can actually be fined £1,000 by DVLA. So make sure you update your address when you change the places, your house, your place to stay. So it's very easy. I'm going to show you on my screen as how do I do that for myself. So let's have a look how to do it online. Just go on the Google and write provisional driving license address change. Simple as that. Just click that and then you go on the Government of UK website whereby you will find the whole form and all the details. Click the change in address. On this website, the UK government asks you to update the address online. There's of course an option to do it in post as well, but we are not covering that. Basically, online application is very simple, zero cost. And the thing to remind again is if you don't change the address, whereas you should be, then you can face penalty up to £1,000 by DVLA because quite important thing here. You can change the address on your provisional license as well as your actual license by the same process, and you are not supposed to wait for your new license. And while your new license comes in, you can still continue to drive as well. So that's few things written here as well. There's discussion about £1,000 penalty as well that I mentioned earlier, that if you don't do it, you maybe face a penalty. And what you need your driving license, you live in UK, you have a 3 years history, and then you are not banned from driving. So these are all the requirements I showed when I made the earlier video about provisional license application without BRP. Similar sort of situation, then there are of course other things like changing the photo at the same time, but we don't want the photo change. We don't care about that for now. Let's just focus on address change. What we will do is just click start now. And remember, there is zero fee. So make sure to update that and don't put yourself to £1,000 penalty. So I'll just click start now here. This is the actual form. Remember, you don't have to do refresh F5 or back button or forward button. It will remove all your progress from the form. What you can do is click next or previous or cancel. All these things you can do, but don't do it here in the browser. Don't use keyboard shortcuts. Just continue here. Just click next here. It asks you to use the security of data, etc., etc. You can't do anything else here. Just click yes. And then the actual details come in, the starting point whereby you have to put your own details, which are actual details, which you put in your provisional driving license application. So I'll just write my details, Mr. Forename Prem, surname Kumar, gender male, and then you have to write other details like date of birth and country of birth. After adding my date of birth, now it's country of birth detail Pakistan, and then I will continue. Remember, all the details that we are putting here and in next few sections should match with your actual provisional license application that they have in your records. So don't put other things, otherwise the application will not move forward. And even if it does, it won't be accepted. You will have to be providing more details subsequently. So just put everything correctly. Click next, and then it asks you for your address history. Now you have to provide 3 years worth of your address history, be it UK, be it outside UK. It's similar to the actual provisional license application. So there are a few ways to write the address, like your postcode. If you're in UK, it's much easier, especially if you are in an old building. Some new buildings don't have the postcode at the very start, so there might be a way you have to write the other things, street and town. But I will stick with the postcode because I have been living in UK. So I'll just continue next, and then I have to put the details where I'm moving, basically my new address, which will be visible eventually on my license. So I'll just put a random postcode here. For example, IG13BE is a random postcode. I'm going to put maybe take any number here, 125, for example, and I'll click the next button. So this is the address I want to put on my driving license. I don't want any supplementary house name. Sometimes people have the mansion, maybe villa, maybe house, bhavan, all the things you can write on your house, but you don't need to put that as long as there's an address there. And you click next. Now it will ask me how much time I have lived. Of course, I'm moving to new address. I just lived maybe 1 month. I just moved, for example, or maybe 0 to 0 months, 0 month, 0 year. Click next. Now I have to provide more addresses because this is literally 1 month I have put here. It's still 2 years, 11 months still left. I'll put another address where I am currently living now because that is already captured in my original license application. So let me put my address now. After putting the address, now I have to tell how long I have been here. Click next. And here I have to put I'll have stayed here for 1 year, 9 months, for example, and then I will click next. Now still 3 year history is not completed, so I have to put another address, which is my address before this address where I have been living. For that I had to put the third address as well, which I have put now, and now I have to tell how much time I have lived in that address as well. So it's quite easy, you remember that. Click next. and then I will put that 3 years, 9 months I lived over there. So overall, I have been living in UK for more than 5 years. So just click next. Generate all my address history now. Now I have to click next for the subsequent requirements. The next thing is your driver number, and then you see these things like security details, NI number, UK passport number. This is a funny one. I'll talk about that. Driver number is basically written on your driving license in the front space. It basically has your name, part of your date of birth, and some other numbers as well. After putting my driver number here, I'll just click yes because the address is listed on my driving license, and then click. Now the next step is put the security details like your phone number, place of birth, etc., for validation really. So I'm going to put my details here. After that, let's click next and move on to next screen. Now it is asking me to put my national insurance number, which I also put when I did my actual provisional license application. The NI number can be found in multiple places, like your old BRP, for example, or on your e-visa account or HMRC app, or on your payslip. There are a number of places. I'm taking my NI number from HMRC app, which specifically has a section at the top to show your NI number. Let me put my NI number in this section first, and then we'll move to the next step. In this step, it's asking me for my UK passport. Now, I am not a UK resident, but if you're a UK resident, you have to put your UK passport, which will link your whole ID to this driving license. I am not a UK passport holder, and it says here if you do not wish to provide UK passport or do not have UK passport, just click next button. So go on next. You don't need to provide this. This is not a mandatory field. Just click next button here, and it processes the details down there. Now it says photo not available. I don't care. It's not mandatory. I'll just click next here. Now it's asking for the photo card driving license issue number and then your photo card numbers. You have to provide some details from your actual driving license, which is this. I'm going to put my details here and then we'll go on the next step, which is basically qualification disqualifications. Hitting next button. Now it's asking if I'm disqualified. No, I'm not disqualified. But if you are, then say yes. I'm saying no. I want to organ donor register. No, I don't want to. I like to continue my application. Remember, these are all the same questions we saw when we did the actual provisional license application. So here I'm going to put my email ID that's linked to my DVL account. And after that, I'll click next. Now it's asking me to put the declaration. Basically, everything I've said is fine, correct. It's not false. And it's also a legal requirement to send the old license back to DVLA after cutting that in two halves. So I'm going to say, yes, I will do that. And then I'm going to hit continue next. Here, this is literally the last step. You have to check all your details here before submitting the application. After it's submitted, you can't change anything. So this is your last chance to make sure name, surname, date of birth, residential addresses, everything matches, your driver number, everything matches before you submit that. So I'll just show you what's the exact fields down there, and then you can literally submit. I'm not going to submit today, of course, but this is the process. Hopefully this would help you. Let me go down then. So as you can see, these are all the fields that you have to work through. Make sure everything's correct, and then literally go down and say submit, which is what's appearing here. And once you submit, the application submitted, and you don't have to do anything else. Hopefully this helps. Thank you so much for watching.